What if you could gain the freedom of having a dirt bike and being financially free? Welcome to The First Ride, a course that I've put together that will take you from just thinking about getting a dirt bike to your very first ride. And it's all 100% free here on YouTube. And today the question is dirt biking expensive, and how to afford dirt biking? Quick disclaimer, I'm not a professional financial advisor. It's crazy, I know. I'm just sharing what has worked for me that's allowed me to afford dirt bikes and be financially free. As someone who is just getting into dirt bikes, you might be wondering what the costs are. So here are the numbers. If you buy a brand new dirt bike, that can cost anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000, assuming it's a full-size dirt bike. If it's something small, like a 110, that number can be as low as $2,000. If you choose to buy a used dirt bike, that can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, depending on the size, make, and model, how many hours are on the bike. If you're buying a small bike, that number will be lower. So then, what about gear? You can get a cheaper set of riding gear for about $500. You could get a good set of riding gear for $700. Or you could get an unnecessarily expensive, limited edition, collector's edition set of gear for $2,000 or something. Like I said, not that necessary, but if that's what you're into, then cool. And then, what about accessories like a gas can, a stand, a few necessary tools? You can probably get started for $100, $200 on that. So hopefully those numbers give you an idea as to what the costs are. So now the question is how to afford dirt bikes and be financially free. Here's how I bought my first dirt bike at the age of 14 without my parents giving me any money. So I started by asking my parents to buy me a dirt bike. I think I tried that for about 6 years. It didn't work. So eventually I was like, well, I'm gonna have to buy one myself. So I went out and I found a job that was willing to hire a kid, and I worked as many hours as they let me. It was simple, but not easy. I saved everything and put it towards a dirt bike. Whenever I was tempted by a video game or something, I would ask myself, will this purchase be as fulfilling as a dirt bike? No? Okay, then I'll just save it and put it all towards a dirt bike. And I have to say, the process of working for something that I wanted was just as fulfilling as the actual dirt bike itself. So if you are a kid and you want to buy a dirt bike, you don't have to follow that exact path. The key is to just use the most powerful thing you have, and that is your brain. Now, if you're not a kid, you're probably thinking, cool story, bro, but I've got rent to pay, food to buy, all sorts of other expenses. Well, as I've gotten older, I'm still a 20-year-old kid living at home. This is the exact plan I followed and am still following that allows me to be financially free. One, pay off all debt, lowest to highest. It would be smart to do highest interest rates to lowest interest rates, but I like to do smallest debt to biggest debt because it gives you an earlier on emotional victory and makes you more likely to follow along with the rest of the plan. So once all debt is paid off, then it's on to step 2, and that is creating a $1,000 to $5,000 emergency fund. I personally like to do $5,000. This is so that when something goes wrong, which it will, you have a stash of money that you can pull from so you don't have to go back into debt. Once that is complete, then it's on to step 3, and that is saving 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. I like to do 6 months. This is so that when something goes wrong, like I get laid off, I make a business mistake, I don't have any income flowing in anymore, I know I have a 6 months buffer to get things back on track. It just helps me sleep better at night. Then finally, step 4, and that is put X percentage of every paycheck into the S&P 500. I personally like to do 30%. And that is the exact formula that I follow that allows me to be financially free. So you might be thinking, well, how does that help with affording dirt bikes? The point is to get personal finances in check first and then worry about affording dirt bikes. So if that means I was starting out riding dirt bikes and I had to take another year to get step 1 and 2 complete in that plan, then I would do that and then worry about getting a dirt bike. Because if you get your personal finances in check, you're more financially free, then affording dirt bikes is not much of a problem. Another way to think about this is wealth is a ratio, not a number. So if I want to become more wealthy, I can either decrease my expenses or increase my income. And I can only decrease my expenses to 0, but I can increase my income an infinite amount. I currently make $470 a paycheck working part-time at a manufacturing plant, and I'm still able to take 30% of that and save it after expenses. So I've decreased my expenses pretty low. So now my attempt is to increase my income. For example, building this platform, Moto Ideas, is an attempt to increase my income. And yes, eventually I'll have to move out of my mama's basement and I'll start working full-time at the manufacturing plant because Moto Ideas probably won't be profitable by then. So then I'll start working my way up the ladder for pay raises because I'm going to be there 40 hours a week anyways, so why not increase my value instead of just sitting around wasting mine and the company's time. I know money can be a pretty touchy subject, and I just want to be clear, this isn't financial advice, even though I probably said you should a few times in this video. Just ignore that. I'm just sharing what has worked for me that's allowed me to be financially free and afford dirt bikes at the same time. So the point is, use your highest value asset for leverage, which is your brain, and I guarantee you'll be able to figure out a way to afford dirt bikes and become financially free at the same time.